Is the Xbox Series X worth it in 2025? Let's find out. All right, so let's first talk about the big elephant in the room, price increases. Xbox has increased theirs to like 600. PlayStation is about to follow suit and has already done so in a bunch of different markets like Asia, Oceania, Antarctica, everywhere except for the United States for some reason. Nintendo is raising their prices. The list goes on. So maybe Xbox is going to raise their prices again, but I think $729 for that Xbox Series X with 2 terabytes is a bit much for the market today. They've also raised the prices of first-party games to $80, which was something I was not really expecting. I was kind of expecting to keep prices at around 70 or 60, but they bought Activision, so that brings some baggage. The reason why I think they're doing this is because they're trying to raise a little extra money because their sales have been abysmal. I think they only sold like 32 million consoles this generation compared to Sony at like 79 million. And those are old estimates on Sony's part, so it's bad. Last time I checked, this is going against everything I learned in my high school economics class, because you can't just raise prices and expect people to buy it. There's a set amount of demand for a product, and when you're raising the prices for something that doesn't even have demand to begin with, are you really expecting to get more sales? They might be trying to use this whole tariffs nonsense as an excuse to raise prices, which is, an adequate excuse, but still, I still wouldn't want to raise prices and push more consumers out to the sidelines and destroy my brand even more. Over the course of my lifetime, I've never seen consoles go up in price as they age. I've only seen them go down in price, and maybe they include a game or two. They include the Kinect for free. They might remove features like look at the fat PS3 I have. They were trying to get consoles into people's homes, and the only way to do that is to make them cheaper and cheaper until people say, oh, that's a good price for me to impulse buy it. And I don't know how exactly raising prices is going to help in any way. I think the gaming market is on the verge of a collapse. I said that in my Nintendo Switch video. If they keep trying this, it's going to collapse on them. This stuff really makes no sense. And the worst part is that microtransactions aren't going away. They're actually worse than they were 5 years ago. You're getting charged $80 for a game, you're getting all the microtransactions, and what are you getting in return? It's just worse product overall. I love how the amount of advertisements there. Like I open the game, it's just an advertisement. I paid $60, $70 for this game. And I'm getting ads. It's just a disgrace. This whole entire game is a disgrace. Is that really what we're trying to do here? Is that really what the industry's turned into, where we're making worse and worse products, charging more and more? It really shows you the average gamer is a complete sucker. I'm not saying that people watching this video are suckers, obviously, because first off, that would hurt me. But I don't think hardcore gamers are suckers. It's the people who buy Madden, the people who buy Call of Duty every single year. Those people are the suckers, obviously. I think we can all agree on that. And if they keep on buying games, then the market's going to keep saying, hey, it looks like these guys are still buying the same general game from like 6, 10, whatever years ago. Why don't we keep doing that? Why don't we implement that in our franchise? That's what companies are going to do. That's what they're going to keep doing. And that's why the gaming industry is getting worse and worse. And we really don't have much power to stop it. Personally, if a game was like $150, included all the microtransactions, maybe if it included some DLCs, then I'd be very happy. I think that would actually be a good balance. They're making more money up front, which I think in business you want to be making the most money up front. And then later on sales are just a bonus usually. But it looks like the market has really got into this idea of subscription services and microtransactions that I don't think they really understand the value of having a customer buy one thing at a good price one time. And again, that's just because of Call of Duty and Madden players. Fuck you guys. I honestly play a lot of Call of Duty myself, but obviously I play other games too. All right, let's stop talking about money and let's talk about how games look. In my opinion, and I think in real life, the Xbox One X really doesn't look that much worse than the Xbox Series X in visuals. If you look at the side-by-side of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X, there really isn't much of a difference. The only difference is that there's ray tracing. Other than that, you really can't tell the difference. Well, when you're moving around, you can notice a difference in frame rate, but you're playing on a console, so you're playing with a controller, so you really shouldn't care about what the frame rate is. Like 30 FPS was what the 360 ran on for like all of eternity, and I think most consoles have basically been at 30. I really don't know of many games that ran at 60 FPS on the Xbox 360. On the Xbox One, there were a lot of games that ran at 30 as well. It's not an uncommon thing, and if you're used to it, you're used to it. I personally probably can't play at 30 FPS anymore, but if I really tried and I just got used to it, there'd be no problem. If you're playing mouse and keyboard, that's a different story. You're going to be moving around a lot more. You're going to be moving around a lot faster. Your mouse moves around a lot faster than a controller, obviously. So you are going to notice that difference in frame rate. But on controller, like, how many people have their controller set to like super high or whatever setting? And Who plays like that? So if you're a normal person who plays video games on your console, you really shouldn't notice a difference, honestly. The main reason why that game looks as good as it does is probably because they focused all their manpower on optimizing for the Xbox One over the Xbox Series X because of the player base difference. But still, a lot of games look like that, even games coming out still today. One of the main reasons why the Xbox One version looks as good as the Xbox Series X is, first off, it has a much better GPU, which is helping it a lot. But also, I don't think they really tried to optimize these for the Xbox Series X as much as they did the Xbox One X, because there was the whole chip shortage. Not many people were able to get the consoles to begin with, so why would you optimize for the Xbox Series X when literally no one owns it? Also, like, if you were expecting a normal market, not everyone immediately moves to the new consoles. Also, why would you throw a bunch of man hours into it? If you guys remember Halo Infinite and the whole disappointment of it not having split screen, the main reason it didn't is because of the base Xbox One and kind of the Xbox One as a whole, but really the base Xbox One. That's really what was holding it back. They couldn't get split screen to work on there because of how piss poor that CPU was, frankly. And again, that's because the Xbox Series X didn't have as many people on it. They also, I don't even think they were expecting to put it on the Xbox Series X. It was originally supposed to come on the Xbox One, but it took them 9 years to make it. So what do you expect? It's on the Xbox Series X. And as a result, there was no split screen. So everyone just took the L, I guess. But it's not all sunshine and roses for people who own the Xbox One X. Sport is disappearing fast and rapidly. This year, it is a ton of games that are supposed to come out that are not going to support the Xbox One. The new Fable game, Death Stranding, those are both games that are only going to be on the new consoles. And you cannot pick them up on the older consoles because they're taking visuals to the next level. But on the other hand, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, or whatever the fuck they're going to call it, is coming to last-gen consoles. So I don't know. I honestly don't know when they're going to ditch support for last generation because I don't know how many people are still playing Xbox One and PS4, but I'm sure it's a very large number, especially when you take into account that these consoles really haven't sold up to their full potential, and really PlayStation is the only one that's really selling pretty well. The last gen support will probably stay around for a lot longer. Also, consumer confidence isn't super high at the moment either, so if I was a company, I would be trying to force people to the new consoles when they can't buy them. But if you don't care and you're saying, hey, I'm just going to stick on this console, I don't care about Fable, I don't care about the new Death Stranding game, then good for you. You're saving money. Wait until next generation. Next generation, 2027 probably. That's what the leaks say. There are just so few games this generation that are even worth buying. The last game I bought for Xbox Series X was Elden Ring. Everything else I basically played on Game Pass and really didn't enjoy too much. I've been actually playing a lot of the older classics on my Xbox 360. That's been a lot more enjoyable than playing these new shithole games that have been coming out. And keep in mind, the new trend from console makers is backwards compatibility. The PS5 is compatible with the PS4. The Xbox Series X is compatible with the Xbox One and kind of the 360 and not really the original Xbox. So if you buy games later and buy the console later, you'll still be able to play it and still be able to enjoy it. And there'll probably be some graphical improvements, unless you're Nintendo and charge people $15 to graphically enhance their games or whatever the fuck. There's also still the possibility Xbox might not have a next generation. The Xbox has sold 32 million consoles. Again, that is terrible. That is on par with the original Xbox. And if this does not get better, or they can't figure out how to sell more consoles later on in the generation, or maybe Sony, I don't know, blows up a church or something, and then all of a sudden Xbox is the least controversial console and everyone's buying Xboxes. Unless something like that happens or doesn't happen, then I actually don't know if Xbox is going to survive as a brand. It probably will live on as like Xbox Game Pass, so they'll just get rid of Xbox and call it Game Pass. And that's really what they want. They want subscriptions. They want people month to month. They want casual gamers paying month to month, not using their service. That's the new trend. And they're going to latch onto it, and they've been very successful at it. But I understand Xbox is actually doing very well as a whole department. This is not their consoles that are doing very well. They want to move fully to cloud gaming and Game Pass. They want to get rid of the Xbox console because I don't remember exactly the number. I'll throw it on the screen, but when the Xbox Series X first came out, they were losing money on every single console they sold. And that's how it is for most consoles. They lose money and they try and get people to buy games later on. If they don't have to do that, all they have to convince you to do is just get some subscription and have some value to it or something. Or maybe not. They can just do whatever, just as long as someone's stupid enough to pay for it. And another thing I've been hearing is the new Xbox might just be a PC, which would actually be a very smart idea. Like, the Corsair One. That form factor, but an Xbox with the Xbox dashboard. And then you can also turn it into a Windows machine. That honestly would be amazing. That would make gaming a lot easier. And most of the games I play on PC are usually part of Game Pass. So actually would be pretty cool. And I'm going to go back on this. Again, if you wait for the new consoles, you're probably going to have to wait like 2 to 3 years without any real new games coming out. Obviously, there's always exceptions like Just Dance, which I think came out like up until like 2019 or something insane on the Xbox 360, but most AAA games did support long before that. And again, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do since not everyone's already on the new generation of consoles, and a lot of people actually stayed on the Xbox One, it looks like. I don't know if they're going to keep support for the old consoles longer or maybe just get rid of them entirely. I'm not sure. But all I know is it's up in the air, and unless you're fine playing older games and not buying the newest games as they come out, which is actually a smarter financial decision, but not all your friends are going to want to do that, obviously, then maybe it's worth upgrading. All right, so let's talk about what I think. I personally regret switching to the Xbox Series X back in 2020. The only reason I bought it is because it was hard to get. Everyone was talking about it, and I don't know, I wanted to be the cool kid with the Xbox Series X in his house, and yeah, no one bought one, so I don't know if I'm really cool. But yeah, no, I was literally just, the only reason I bought it is because everyone wanted it, and I really wasn't thinking. But think about it now, the Xbox One X was perfectly adequate, and I honestly don't really play too many graphically demanding games on Xbox anyways. I mainly play on PC these days, and anything graphically demanding is better looking on PC, so I enjoy playing on PC. I just take my PC, I have an HDMI cable that goes all the way to my TV back there, and I play it on the TV. I have HDR surround sound, just like a console. I'm playing on controller, but I'm enjoying better graphics. Maybe that's an option for some of you that have a lot of money. I don't know. If you're really watching a video about is the Xbox Series X worth it in 2025, then I don't know if you have a lot of money, but if you do, buy a PC. Join the PC master race. Yay. Honestly, I would have been benefited by just staying on the Xbox One X. I would have bought a PC. When I first bought the Xbox Series X, I had a Ryzen 7 2000 or 1000 series and a RTX 2080, so I didn't really have a bad PC to begin with, so I don't know why I bought one. And yeah, that's how I'm going to end off the video. I don't know why I bought one. Maybe you should really think about it too. Don't do what I did and just buy something. Think it over. Think about this video again. Maybe rewatch the video. That'd be awesome. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later. Bye.